Hi, Maverick. Thank you for being a supporter of mine. I know that a lot of y'all say fans, but I think of you guys as supporters.
How's it going, everybody? Tophiachu has become more like her father than she ever has before in her life. Not only is she crashing out about absolutely nothing, losing her mind almost on a daily basis, and most people would never be able to tell because her live streams have become so boring that she's just sitting there listening to music 24/7. Most people aren't going to be able to get to the good stuff, and that's also not the only similarity between Tophiachu and Papu, because Tophiachu, she's finally stepped up her game, everybody. She's recently got a Cameo account, and you guys remember during the Nova saga how bad the Cameo stuff was. When he got a Cameo, he basically stopped making TikToks, he stopped doing live streams, he gained like 30 some pounds just sitting around doing Cameo all day. It wasn't very productive for him, and now that Tophiachu is filling a similar role that Nova has left behind, it's going to start happening. All of a sudden, the live streams that have basically became nothing burgers anyhow, they're going to stop, and Tophiachu is just going to rake in all of this Cameo money. And I know a lot of you guys are saying there's no way Big Toph is getting cameos. They gotta be the most boring thing in the world, and yes, you are exactly right. There is no entertainment coming from Tophia's cameos. People are paying $40+ for Big Toph to just waddle onto camera, put the phone in her face, and basically say 40 seconds worth of nothing. They'll ask her a question and she doesn't even really respond to it. Matter of fact, I don't think she took the time to understand them. Here recently, there's been a huge controversy with Ric Flair and his cameos. I think Ric Flair's cameos are way better than Big Toph's. At least he's hammered drunk and has a reason to be so incompetent during them. Tophiachu, it's just blatantly disrespectful. And you guys heard in the beginning of the video how Tophiachu's talking about them. She's like, guys, I don't see you as viewers, which would be like the normal classification. She's like, I see you as supporters, just as wallets. So whenever I see someone supporting my channel, I just know there's a big fat wallet waiting to open up from it. So thank you for your $40. Continue to shell it out. And if you want to, you can make a GoFundMe in your honor. It would be really appreciated. But all jokes aside, these might be some of the worst cameos I might have ever seen in my life. We're gonna go ahead and jump into these so I can show you guys just the absolute train wreck that Tophiachu is putting on. The one thing I can say is, at least Tophiachu has got like 5 or 6 5-star ratings, and also she has changed her shirt every time she's done one. That is a big accomplishment, especially since the segments we're going to watch later in this one, Big Toph has been wearing the same thing for like 2 or 3 days.
Hi, Maverick. Thank you for being a supporter of mine. I know that a lot of y'all say fans, but I think of you guys as supporters. So you have 2 questions for me. What is my best memory from being a content creator? My best memory from being a content creator is being able to make connections and being able to connect to my supporters and knowing that there's positive support right behind me with people like you. Your second question is, what is my favorite food? Well, my favorite food is pizza and pasta. That is literally my favorite food of all time. I could eat that all the time. But anyways, thank you for being a huge supporter of me and my mom. We really appreciate it so much, and I thank you. Have a nice, wonderful day. Bye. Hi, David. This is from your friend Joelle. Thank you for being a supporter of mine. I know you're going through like changes and all of that. Just be yourself. When it comes to like, you know, finding yourself, being yourself, dressing how you want, looking how you want, don't care what others think, because looks really don't matter. I mean, to some people a little bit, but looks really don't matter at all. As long as you be yourself and you have a great personality, people will love you for that. They will love you for being yourself. Don't try to be someone else for other people. Be yourself. That's the best thing you can be.
It's crazy how she completely avoids that first guy's question or completely misinterpreted it I don't know. Or in all honesty, I think Tophiachu knew exactly what he was saying and she was just being completely honest. The dude's like, all right, so what would be your favorite moment in content creation? And for a lot of content creators, it'd be like a specific stream or a specific video they was proud of, maybe a fan interaction, like a very specific one, maybe a meetup they went to where they realized how appreciated they were. Not Tophiachu. She's like, basically, whenever you guys give me money, I love it. The support you guys show me on a daily basis, with Tophiachu, it's like a every now and then basis when someone comes out of the woodworks and like, here, Tophiachu, here's some cash. That's what she appreciates the most out of content creation. She doesn't care about none of it. It basically goes to show you that Tophiachu's content is about nothing except her complaining about her life and just hoping that some donations are tagged along with it. Because if that wasn't a part of her content, then there'd be nothing. She would just be listening to music 24/7 on stream, be like, oh wait, oh, my tablet's almost dead. See you later, guys. And that would be the extent of it. And in the second cameo that lasts like just a minute, and guys, people can put some serious work in their cameos. I promise you, there could be a lot more effort into these. Tophiachu gets asked a question that she should be able to answer better than most people, but she just gives the same old runaround. It literally sounds like someone doing their best PR interpretation that they possibly could. Like, say nothing wrong, just absolutely get through this as fast as possible. Make them sound like you're happy to be there. She's like, you can do anything you set your mind to. Don't let other people judge you. And it's like, I know Tophiachu has probably had some serious thoughts about this kind of stuff, but is she gonna let the fan hear it for a measly $40? Nope, someone just walked in the room Tophiachu knows she's not allowed to record in, so no, she's gotta end this. Your money all in the bank right now, so you just gotta deal with what you got. She's about to get in trouble. And all this cameo money is going to do is make Tophiachu's attitude that much worse. She already believes she's going to be getting a house sometime soon. I guess one of those programs that she applied for got back into contact with her and was like, hey, it's going to be a very long time, but we'll get back to you soon, Big Toph. And she's like, finally, I can just sit on this couch all day and there will be no consequences to it. And now the cameo money's rolling in, so it probably is just doubling down that mindset of hers. Like, I can just sit here all day, do absolutely nothing. How crazy of me was I when I was walking to the Sonic and McDonald's to do live streams?
Yeah, I can do certain things. I can't work a regular job, but I can work a work from home job, but you know, like literally I am stressed. I can't, because the place that I'm in does not allow you to work. And sadly, I am getting housing and they're gonna help with that, which is great. And it'll eliminate the storage. But again, you know, you never know someone's situation and why they can't do anything. And it may not be excuses. Like, sometimes you need to stay out of people's business and STFU. Like I always say, STFU. Do not, you're giving unsolicited advice to someone that does not care. I didn't ask, nor did I need you to tell me what I need to do. I know what I need to do. Since I've got my housing in place, I have to wait for that on a wait list. That means the next thing I can move and work towards is a car. Hello? Duh, since I already got my housing settled, what do you think I'm going to work towards next? A car. To literally try to tell me, well, maybe get a house first. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to flip out, and it's not going to be good. Like, I'm not mad or angry all the time. People say you're mad, you're angry. You're mad, you're angry all the freaking time. You just nitpick everything that I do. It's just, Jesus Christ. It has nothing to do with you. Like, I'm not even mad. And I do have supporters. I could log off, but then I can't pay my phone bill. Are you dumb? How am I going to pay my storage? I'm gonna log off and not have any money coming in? Are you dumb? Yes, I was supposed to, and I didn't even realize it was past the 15th. I was supposed to get my cash out on my main page. I didn't. Now I gotta wait till the next 15th. I mean, not the 14th, the 15th. And I'm like, bro, I set it so I could get it on time. And I guess apparently that didn't work out. I'm trying not to pay attention, but sometimes it's annoying. People don't know what people are going through and they just prejudge. And it's very stressful. I want to be successful so I have enough money to be able to go do things, but
Tofia, all of your content is about your life. It is about nothing else. If you was to ask one of your viewers, what is your content about? They would say, well, you get on camera and sometimes you crash out on live stream about topics of your life you don't want getting out, but for some reason you tell everybody these topics of your life, and then it's just a downward spiral from there. Then we circle back around and it's just an ever-going event for you. Now, Tophiachu back in the day, she used to not be able to help it as much. She had Mama Chu on camera talking crazy stuff. She had Papa Chu on camera talking crazy stuff. And then there was Brother Chu and Angie every now and then popping in. But for Tofia nowadays, it's all on her. She literally still does the same thing, and none of her other family members are on the internet. She used to have like a mild excuse. She was the only lolcow that couldn't escape it fully because, well, her other family members were lolcows. But at this point, she's like two of the Chu crews all at once because she's full on going her Papa Chu arc. She's making all the bum son excuses in the world when someone's like, hey, why don't you get a job? And she's like, well, I would get a job, but I can only do homework right now. That's the only thing I'm capable of doing because I'm just far too stressed out to actually work a real job where I'm interacting with real people. And they're like, well, there's plenty of those jobs nowadays. And they're like, oh, well, I'm actually far too stressed to be doing that either. I just want to sit down, lay in bed all day, watch some TV shows, and, just relax a little bit. I've had it very hard here recently. But Tophiachu has chose the worst options. Just lays around, complain about her life 24/7, and hope to get some handouts from somebody. Legitimately, I haven't shown any of it in the video. I don't think you guys will see it. But Tophiachu is literally going to her other roommate, who, let's be real here, guys, is homeless herself. She's homeless too, and Tophiachu at least 5 or 10 times through like the 2 streams I've watched her has walked to her room and got some kind of chocolate from her, and sometimes it's that Dubai chocolate, which I've never ate it, but I'm pretty sure it's insanely expensive. And speaking of insane, you wouldn't like Big Toph when she's angry. You guys better watch out. She is sick and tired of the nitpicking going on right now. She can get a house. She's already proven us wrong, guys. She's on the waiting list. They told her to be insanely lazy and never earn a dime of money. It's just that she can't do it. She is not legally allowed, or at least that's the way Tophiachu is trying to make it sound. And look, I've never been on any of those waiting lists, but I can only imagine that the homeless shelter that you're in or any program is just begging that you would get your life a little bit in order so they don't have to pay near as much. And I completely could see that you couldn't exceed a certain amount of income for you to receive this benefit, but at the same time, you're obviously earning TikTok income. You gotta be showing that to them. Big Toph might not be showing that to him. But now, since Tophiachu is on this waiting list, she doesn't even have to think about it anymore, guys. And the fact that people are still bringing it up is making her furious. She's going to get a car now. She is going to be a driver. Don't you guys concern yourself with her living situation. Concern yourself with the car that she's going to get. And Tophiachu riding around New Mexico would be hilarious. But do you guys think Tophiachu is going to get a car? She's getting Cameo money, $40 a pop. She's even offering $360 business classes. I don't know. I don't want to know what kind of business class Tophiachu is offering or what she believes is $360 worth of business classes, but it's just Papu 101. You know it. And when you question her a little bit, she's going to rage message out, say you don't know anything about this, she's a TikTok star, and you need to leave her alone and mind your business.
He tried to get money from me first, because the catfish said I couldn't pay as much as Jay was paying me. And if I didn't pay up, or if I didn't send, they were leaking the whole conversation. I don't give a what you leak. I am a grown adult. You are a grown adult. We're both grown. For you to leak messages to try to make it seem like, oh, you know, I don't care. I'm grown. I am 31 years old, okay? You don't get to tell me what I can and cannot post. Bye-bye. You're disgusting. Like, I'm 31 years old. I can post whatever I want. You think I'm supposed to just sit here and do nothing? Then you must be crazy. Like, oh, no, someone did mention it, but someone asked if I had a crush on somebody. No, I don't have a crush on anyone. Like, that's funny. No, I don't. Yeah, somebody did ask that. See, here's the thing. You're saying nobody said that because you're mad I'm not responding to negative comments. I don't need to. And stop bringing up stuff. You're more worried about my mother than you are your own mother. And some of you guys probably have not even visited your own mother. So I would suggest you worry about going to visit your mother before you talk about me visiting mine. Thank you. Like, it's giving weird behavior. You don't even know how hard it is for people to even get a ride with ACS. You don't even know. Like, literally, I almost had to sleep outside because they wasn't going to be able to take me to the shelter until 24 hours because I didn't have so much stuff. I just had like 3 big bags because I thought they were going to help me this place they sent me to. And they didn't help me. They said they couldn't. And so I was stuck with all these bags and I couldn't carry them with me on the bus because it was like 3 big trash bags full of stuff. And so then I called ACS and they told me it was going to take 24 hours. I would have had to sleep outside. But then luckily someone came to get me. And basically, yeah, that's what happened. Sorry, I didn't mean to mention that because I keep forgetting. But anyways, I didn't reject hospital service. I went to a psych ward, and they told me, do I think I'm okay to be released? And I said, yes. I don't need to be in a psych ward. Why do I need to be in the psych ward? Literally, when I'm sound mind, I'm not a harm to anyone. I was not a threat to anyone. That happened, and then it was the trolls and this girl. Okay, so I felt like I was being egged on by this girl in this car because my mind wasn't really processing anything or really thinking. I was just thinking like, that's it. And this girl, she rolled down the window, right? And she rolled down the window in the back, and I don't know if it was like her dad or whoever it was, but she was looking at me and she just started like laughing and just like straight up laughing like, I don't know, the way that I felt like I was being egged. So I said, oh, you think it's funny? Like, I just literally thought she was a troll. She could have been just someone that was laughing about something else.
It's so crazy that Tophiachu is still talking about this Jay stuff. She is not taking this serious whatsoever. She got like a cease and desist letter and it's like, nope, not legitimate. They put too many L's on my name, and all it really is like a letter saying, hey Tophiachu, I'm gonna take you to court if you keep on talking about me. Because most people on the YouTube side had no idea who Jay was. They only knew about him through Tophiachu bringing him up for whatever reason. Now I would say on the TikTok side, most people knew who Jay was, but like when I went to go look into him when like the court case cease and desist letter stuff was going on, His channel was gone. There was no way to know about him. And Tophiachu was legitimately slandering him when she's saying that the catfish was in with Jay the entire time. Not the case. I was even mistaken in my last video she brought this up because Jay's channel was gone and he has basically no way to defend himself. The dude went to Jay and was like, hey, I've been talking to Tophiachu, you're a T-page, would you like this? And Jay was like, no, I don't want any part of it. So the dude, it's a troll. It's nothing serious, at least to him, nothing official. He's like, hey, I'm working with Jay just to get a little more pull on Tophiachu. So she might think, oh, I don't want this on a T page. Absolute scumbag behavior. No one's going to sit there and say the catfish wasn't a scumbag. Like 100% scumbag behavior. Really weird in general. Like when you think about it, super weird. So it's even crazier that you're going to go on to slander Jay, but you're the same person who's going to be talking bad about your mom in this video. Like, no, I'm never going to visit Mamachu. What? You're upset because I don't visit my mom? How about you take a look in the mirror and go visit your mom? It's this thing where Tophiachu just envisions all of her haters as this one singular being that is the worst human in the earth. They're against everything Tophiachu stands for. They don't respect anybody. They're heinous human beings, and that's what she just assumes they all are, instead of individuals who are just having a little bit of fun on the weekends, weekdays, a little bored, and discussing the content Tophiachu provides them. And unfortunately for Tophiachu, it never really looks good in her case. Like the story she would go on to tell after that, when she's explaining how she got away from living under a bridge for a night or two. She's like, oh yeah, my uncle came to get me, or at least she said my family member came to get me, and during that time she accidentally said her uncle, and everybody knew that's where she was. And she's like, well, wait, I'm not allowed to say that. Like it's some crazy thing for her uncle to swoop in, come save her for a night. A matter of fact, it's kind of crazy he didn't continue to let you live there, but I guess you did get into a shelter where you can just sit around all day, so he didn't really have to do too much, to be honest with you, but still. But most likely why Tophiachu wasn't allowed to mention it is because the guy doesn't want to get hassled for it, reasonably so, which is most likely the reason Tophiachu just isn't allowed to stay there in the first place. Remember guys, being a live streamer who's homeless and nowhere to go is way cooler than working a 9-to-5 living under a roof. Alright? These are Tophiachu's words she stands by. Oh, and mind you guys, she is not crazy whatsoever. When she was getting evaluated and they determined that she was out of her mind, she did the most sane thing possible and said, well, you guys are the crazy ones. It's like, how much more information do you need, Tophiachu? Everyone is saying like, hey, look, you're kind of becoming Papu. And she's like, no, I'm not. I will stand on the corners and scream at people for a GoFundMe money, and that is certainly not like my father, even though it kind of is. I mean, she's just missing a few steps, like running into the gas station, demanding all the cigarettes. She's got a little bit of a ways to go, but she is getting there. And it's not even just her viewers telling her anymore. It's literally doctors like, hey, look, you might need some help. And Tophiachu is just denying it. Like, Toph, you need some help at this point.
So then I drank that. They took my phone. I think I had to take my clothes off because they made me take my clothes off. Yes, I took my clothes off. I was laying there in a gown. I was watching TV, and then I had to have someone sit with me and monitor me because there was another person there, and she was really freaking out. She said, I want to go home. She was like, I need to see my kids. And just like, I don't know. There was one guy that he didn't want to be there, but I guess he had to. And I had someone sitting there monitor me. The next thing I know, the nurse comes in and is like, your friend is here. And I was like, my friend? And I was like really confused at that point because I was like, what? Like, I was just like shocked because at first I had a dream, right? I was telling the therapist because in my dream, because I was like, well, I'm going to have to talk to a therapist to get out of this hospital. So I better tell the therapist whatever it is I have to tell the therapist. So I confessed and I was like, yeah, this message. And I was like crying in the dream and I was like, it really hurt me. And you know, I thought I was gonna have to live without this person. It was like a weird dream. Right when I woke up from that dream is when the nurse walked in and was like, your friend is here. And I just had that dream about like the message. Did I say I got fired for hygiene? No, that's not what I said in my YouTube video. What I literally said was that the lady, one of the co-workers came forward and said nobody called about my hygiene. She was lying, okay? A liar. Considering the fact she tried to tell me that the laundry soap that I was using wasn't working. You tell me what happens when you wash with laundry soap. It works. So to try to tell me that I'm using a cheap laundry soap is crazy. I was not using it doesn't matter what kind of laundry soap I use, it's gonna work when you wash your clothes. To tell someone washing their clothes is not working is stupid. And flat out a lie. She was like, well, I think that the laundry soap that you're using isn't working. You need to buy a more expensive one. I don't need to buy an expensive anything, you materialistic. Okay, maybe you can afford that because you're a manager who sucks, right? You suck at being a manager, okay? You was not a good manager. She couldn't even find a manager. She was general manager at that, mind you. She couldn't even find a manager to work the store, much less let alone keep her employees who were wanting to leave because she's a horrible boss. On top of that, nobody said anything about hygiene. I said she me for my hygiene. I got fired because of a piece of cheese. She was trying to find every reason to fire me. Okay, my phone's about to die, so I really gotta get off. People lie constantly. Because the thing was is that people said I didn't even graduate high school, that I dropped out. And then someone released the senior photo where I'm wearing my gown, or the senior photo, and now what do you gotta say? You didn't even apologize for lying and saying that I didn't graduate high school, because then my high school photos started coming out. Now what do you have to say? Nothing.
How is Tophiachu really gonna sit here and tell us she doesn't have the biggest crush on her friend of all time? I left a little bit of hints throughout the video of her mentioning things like this, but this just cements it to me. So you mean to tell me you're sitting there having a dream, talking to a therapist while you're plopped up on a table watching TV as some dude sits next to you. You eventually pass out and you dream you tell a therapist about this message you sent to this girl that you think has ruined your friendship, and there's no recovering from here on out. But then all of a sudden you're woken up to the dream come true. Your friend has forgiven you. They're there to shower you with praise. They're gonna tell you everything's gonna be all right. And Tophiachu is just absolutely smitten by this. You can see the smile on her face. Pay attention. Go back and watch the rest of the video again. Tophiachu really isn't smiling all that much, except when she mentions her friend. When she's talking about Mamachu, Papu, even money. Well, she's got a little bit of a smile on her face when she's talking about money and food, but besides that, there's no bigger smile than the one she gets when she's talking about this friend of hers. But it doesn't matter, Tophiachu's gonna lie about it and always trip up on the facts. Like, Tophiachu will go in the same live stream and trip up on herself, and at the very end of this video, what she goes on to say, well, like, you guys will be thinking the same thing I am if you're not already. But here's another thing to show you that Tophiachu will just lie for no reason. She starts off, when she's explaining how she got fired from her last job, she starts off like, no, it was not for hygiene. It was because people were calling. But yet, then she just starts seething all of a sudden. She's like, but you know what? That pesky manager of mine, I hate her to this day. She doesn't know how to smell, apparently. If you use laundry detergent, of course your clothes are going to smell good. And it's like, Tophiachu, aren't you like right now giving away that's the reason that you got fired? And I legitimately think, you know, that's a possibility, but I also could think that Tophiachu, you know, when she's like, it was cheese that got me fired, I think it could be because Tophiachu was poor at her job. I've seen it before where a hiring manager like completely like misinterprets a person when they come through the doors. They think they're someone else entirely, but when they come to work, they start realizing like, oh, I've made a very big mistake, haven't I? And they will look for the most petty reasons in the world to fire them. It might not be right, but it happens. And I think that could have been what happened to Tophiachu.
So, he had this SUV, and he was like, look, he called me outside, and he said, this is yours. And I was like, this is mine? And I was freaking out. I was like, whoa. It had a cool stereo in it. It was nice. Man, that was a nice little SUV. But then his coworker wanted to buy it back, so then he was like, he needed it for work, so he let him buy it back. And then he was like, I'll get you another car, don't worry. And I was like, it's okay. And I was patiently waiting, but then little Miss Jealous was like, he better not get her a car. He's my brother. He can get me whatever he wants. You don't control his life or what he does for his family. That's weird. Didn't you say he was a burden? I'm not trying to scare anybody. I don't people. But if you're being obnoxious and you're literally making someone else uncomfortable, and they can see that I'm visibly uncomfortable and it's literally becoming a problem, and you get, that is not my fault. People need to learn boundaries. I need to learn boundaries. Anyways, well, I just said that out loud, didn't I? Well, that's not, anyways, people need to learn boundaries. Well, I'm hard on myself for something I did. And, yeah. I don't think it was an issue, but it might have been an issue. Anyways, it was nothing that bad, but anyways, people need to learn boundaries. When it comes to, and boundaries could be a plethora of things, right? But not just like that. Boundaries are a lot of things, like learning to say no to people. Learning certain things like that, like, you know, people do not respect boundaries, but whatever. Yeah, I'm upset at myself for something I did today. But yeah. Anyways, you know, it's just like these things where it's like like literally if someone says no, no means no. I'm so sick and tired of it. It's like when I'm hanging out with someone and people are like, oh my gosh, she's dating them. Learn boundaries. I'm allowed to have friends. That's it. That is all. It's just really affecting my relationships. It really is. Like, seriously, how am I ever going to be with anybody if you keep prying into my relationships and keep ruining things for me? Like, just stop. It's annoying.
It's so funny how, like, as time has went on, it's become very apparent that Brother Chu was just the provider for the Chu crew. As soon as he got taken out of the picture, every one of them just fell to pieces. And even Papu Chu, you know, him and Brother Chu, I guess, was like the main figureheads of the household somehow. Somehow the household was hanging on by a thread with these two in charge, and that's when Brother Chu wasn't living with Angie. But when he was with the Chu crew, he did everything for them. And I remember back in the Chu Cruiser saga, Tophiachu would swear up and down Brother Chu basically did nothing, and all of her money from TikTok was paying all of these bills. That mystical storage unit, well, if it wasn't for Big Toph, they wouldn't be having it. And if it wasn't for Tophiachu, they wouldn't go to they wouldn't have a transmission for their car. But then you realize, like, wait a second, that's the only thing you ever bring up, Tophiachu, when you're like, yeah, I paid for things. Well, I paid for things back then. The transmission. She's just said the transmission so many times at this point. I've got to think that's the only thing she's ever bought. Brother Chu was literally feeding these people, like buying them stuff. Bought Tophiachu an SUV, apparently. Now, I think this was like during the apartment days. Like, at least the way Tophiachu was making it sound, because I don't think like Angie was too involved during the Chu Cruiser saga. It's crazy how reliant Tophiachu is on this guy. She literally referred to herself as a single household now without Brother Chu. This is how dependent she was on this man, and she, to like the end of time now, will downplay the importance of his jobs and stuff, except when she's really going for that pity party. If only Brother Chu could have taught her boundaries as well, because apparently that's something Tophiachu was lacking. For a little more context, there was some music behind it, so I couldn't play it like out fully, but Tophiachu was talking about a time she was at like a restaurant or somewhere out, and this drunk girl walked up to her and was being obnoxious, wanting a photo with Tofia, and her friends wasn't having it apparently and were getting kind of upset. That's basically all you need to know. And Tophiachu was trying to explain that some people need their boundaries, and for some reason she's like, I need to watch my boundaries. Like for no reason whatsoever, just slips that out there, like she's not on a live stream in front of all kinds of people, so everyone just latches onto this like, what do you mean, Tofia? And instead of being like the most obvious thing, they're like, oh, you know, sorry, slip of the tongue, what I meant to say was, and then you go on to explain yourself, but Tophiachu's like, nope. See, she pulled a Nova online, like, nope, here, let me explain to you my faults so you'll understand my shortcomings right now. And you know it's because of that one girl she was talking about earlier. It's just incredibly obvious. But my biggest question now is, what did you do, Tophiachu? What did you do that was so bad? Your subconscious is literally screaming out that you can't watch your boundaries, to the point you bring up a story to try to talk trash on it, and you feel such shame that you just gotta spit it out in front of your audience. That is some pretty rough stuff you're dealing with. What could you have possibly done? Did you show up outside of her house again? It's gonna come out sometime soon, most likely, and it's probably gonna be crazy or something incredibly simple that she's just, for some reason, making a big deal out of. But nonetheless, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. That's enough for me today. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, follow all the socials down below, leave a comment as well, use the new hype feature, and I'll catch you guys next time.